papalawakin pa natin to beyond relationships. How do we intentionally create spaces where every learner feels secured, valued, and empowered to participate? Keyword, intentional. Let us to help us unpack this further, let us once again welcome Miss Jonna. Miss Jonna, we're excited to learn from you again.
Yes, Teacher Ina. Thank you very much. And again, welcome sa ating lahat. No? Nakabalik na ba ang ating mga ka-collabs? Ayan, sige. Thank you. So we are now going to discuss about the inclusive classrooms, no? Designing safe and supportive remedial environments. So why are we doing this? No? Kanina, sabi natin, we need to establish a positive relationship. And definitely, we need to design our classroom or our learning environment. So, ano ba ito? Uunahan ba natin yung mga classrooms na i-establish ng Department of Education? Tingnan natin siya sa mga susunod na slides natin. No? So, in our social and emotional learning, mahalaga sa atin yung environment. And we are part of this supportive remedial environment or the supportive learning environment. No? So I have this magic wand in your respective screens. Makikita natin yan. Using this magic wand, you need to transform your classroom into your most ideal learning environment. Ano ba yung most ideal learning environment? Pwede kayong mag-chat, pwede ninyong i-describe ano yung ideal learning environment ninyo. Sige, hihintayin ko yung inyong responses. Okay. What is your most ideal learning environment? Ayan, para sa mga kararating lang, kanina napag-usapan natin ano yung dynamics sa loob ng classroom, in terms of building a positive relationship. So, lalabas na tayo ng konti, papunta na tayo dun sa learning environment. Ano naman ba yung learning environment na sa palagay natin mas makakatulong sa atin dito sa ating aral program? Ayan. Sige. May mga nakikita na ako nagko-comment, a child-friendly classroom, Siguro a little history lang, Yung parang pinaka-matanda na idea about the learning environment, alam nyo ba kung saan siya? Trivia. May trivia talaga But in the books, makikita natin na yung unang mga classroom is really under the mango tree sa konteksto ng Pilipino, Marami sa mga lolo't lola natin ang nagklase sa ilalim ng punong mangga, literal, At doon sa kanilang pag-aaral na yan, sa kanilang klase, sila ay natuto ng iba't ibang competencies. At marami sa kanila, hindi man sila nakapagtapos ng formal education, like halimbawa college, MA or PhD, nagkaroon sila ng magandang mga karera. Sige. So let's see. Tingnan natin yung mga comments about the ideal learning environment. Tingnan ko yung inyong mga description. From Rhea Panimdim, welcoming and respectful learning environment. From Ma'am Anita Magsanok, everybody is welcome, and heard. From Daniel Daryl Kaling, an ideal learning environment is a safe, inclusive, organized, and engaging space where students feel supported, motivated, and actively involved in meaningful learning that promotes both academic growth and personal development. Yeah, thank you. And then, Vencil Agualada, free from bullying, friendly classroom. From Raquel Alfonso, safe and comfortable. From Julio Zar M. Siriban, conducive learning environment. Ayan. And then Jasmine Corpus, an environment where children feel safe, accepted, and welcomed, and celebrated. From Ma'am Vanessa Kamangig, conducive learning. Also from an unknown user, conducive for learning. From Maria Esther Asuncion, Pelagio Gaturan, malinis, maaliwalas, mayroong mga learning materials na makakapag-activate ng kanilang mga interes. And also, learners are comfortable in terms of ambience, space, and friendly. Meron pa ba? Ayan, conducive from Ma'am Marilyn. From Ma'am Regine, that supports learning development. From Sir John Alvin Rabulan, a room filled with academic noise with no judgment and criticism. Okay? From Ma'am Jean, an ideal learning environment is one where students feel free to express themselves without fear of negative judgment. It is a classroom that fosters safety, not only physically but also emotionally and psychologically. Thank you very much for your active participation. So, active na active pa rin ang ating mga participants, ang ating mga ka-collab, no, with all this ideal learning environment. So, dito, no, kapag tinype mo siya, I actually used an AI, no, Gemini, no. Tinignan ko, sabi ko kay AI, sabi ko kay Gemini, show me a picture of a classroom that is conducive for learning, that is a conducive learning environment na nire-recognize yung social and emotional learning. And this is how the classroom looks like, no? Meron siyang maayos na upuan, no? Meron siyang malaking mesa, meron siyang lugar kung saan makakapag-express ka ng iyong emotions, no? Nakita niyo dyan yung mga emojis na yan. And then, meron ding may mga pictures din ng mga bata. So, kung titingnan natin, this is really for early grades, no? At doon sa inyong description, makikita nyo rin dyan yung ideal learning environment nyo. Parang pag kayo si Gemini, yun din yung ibibigay nyo sa akin. It's the same picture, no? Na ibibigay nyo sa akin kung ano yung ideal learning environment. May learning materials, meron ding upuan, meron siyang malaking bintana kung saan makakahinga, makakapasok yung hangin, well-ventilated, well-lighted, no? And then may paalala sila dyan na nakalagay, listen, share, kindness, caring, teamwork, help each other, and help other, no? So, mahalaga ito, no, sa isang learning environment. At ito yung sinasabi nga natin na ideal. Kaya kanina, nung pinagamit ko yung magic wand sa inyo, marami din kayong ipinakita o marami rin kayong na-imagine, what if ito yung learning environment na meron tayo for the remediation or even for the regular classes? Hindi ba baka dadating yung panahon na kung ganito pala yung learning environment, baka hindi na kailanganin ng remediation. Baka doon pa lang sa regular classroom experience, sapat na, no? At magiging conducive na talaga siya for learning. So tumingin pa ako, no? Ito naman yung isa pa sa mga ipinakita na ideal learning environment. Now, I want to ask you, which part of the classroom you think would help develop social and emotional learning skills? Anong bahagi kaya ng classroom, no? Base sa picture na pinapakita ko ngayon sa screen, ano kaya yung bigay sa atin o makakatulong sa atin to develop the social and emotional learning skills of our learners? Sige, may I know your take or your thoughts on this? Okay, may comments ba? Ayan. Okay, may nakita lang ako dito sa side. Parang that's really an ideal, no, learning environment, no. Ito may sagot na. Parang isa sa mga makakatulong is the seating arrangement. Okay. Parang pumili kayo ano yung mas ideal learning environment. Karamihan, no, sa mga participants natin, parang mas pinili nila yung first picture. Pero anong bahagi kaya nung learning environment na yan o nung classroom yung makakatulong talaga to develop the SEL? May bahagi ba ng classroom na very specific na gusto ninyong tingnan na makakatulong sa atin? Okay, some of you, ang sinasabi parang reading corner, yung group seating arrangement. Yeah, yung seating arrangement na individual would also help. Classroom orderliness, organized, clean environment, yung chair. Tapos meron din dito yung cell corner, no? And then karamihan, ang binabanggit yung first picture, no? Ayan. Sabi meron ding calm, no? Yung dating daw ng classroom ay kalmado, no? Kaya makakatulong sa pagde-develop ng ating SEL skills. Ayan, ambience and ayan, yung ambience, learners who are seated, ayan. Sabi ni Ma'am Eileen, yung seating arrangement, si Ma'am Pauline naman yung emotional board, and then si Ma'am Evelyn ay the bulletin board or wall display area is key for developing SEL skills. Okay. Sige, meron pa. Sabi ni Ma'am Daniel, student works displays, seeing their own outputs displayed helps build self-esteem, a sense of belonging and pride in their progress. And, meron pa ba? Ayan, collaborative learning from Ma'am Jocelyn Cunanan. Collaborative learning because of the seating arrangement. Hindi siksikan. The bulletin board also gives information not only for the class but what is to be known by the learners. Okay, sige. So those are what we call the ideal, no? Tama naman kayo. That is also one of our limitations in the Department of Education. But given the chance to design our own classroom, it would be best that we look into how it should be, no? Or ano ba yung tamang nandoon? Ano yung non-negotiable na nandoon, no? May isa pa akong ipapakita sa inyo, no, later. Okay. So, in designing, no, the safe and supportive remedial environments, we will go beyond the physical classroom, no? Kasi nga sinasabi natin that is one of our limitations. I am not saying na magiging sinungaling tayo sa ating sarili at parang i-divert natin yung attention natin sa ibang bagay. At tingnan yung kumbaga hindi naman yun yung concern o hindi yun yung problema. But what I'm saying here is when we talk about social and emotional learning, we go beyond the physical setup, no? Kagaya nga nung binanggit ko kanina, yung mga lolo't lola natin, no? Meron tayong mga earliest clippings na talagang makikita mo ang classroom walang walls. Meron lang siyang shade, meron lang siyang bubong at yung bubong na yon ay yung mga dahon ng punong mangga. And yet, may guro at may learners. So ano yung parang pinaka magandang mensahe ng picture na yan sa atin? Ang learning environment, kapag nandoon ang guro at nandoon ang learners, andon ang learning, no? Andon ang isang environment o isang kapaligiran kung saan makakatulong ang bawat isa para sa pagtuturo at pagkatuto. At dito sa ating designing ng safe and supportive remedial environments, hindi natin paninimbangan, hindi natin sasabihin ano bang mahalaga, yung safe sila o yung supportive na environment para sa kanila. Ang kailangan natin ngayong pag-usapan, paano ba mag-strike ng balance yung safety nila at yung supportive learning environment or the remedial environment. Can you just imagine, no, in our context, in the Department of Education, ang talaga namang classroom natin, what is our average now? Meron na ba tayong average? Like for Key Stage 1, ilan ang average na bata natin? Meron ba? May idea kayo? Ano yung pinakamataas o pinakamalaking nahawakan ninyo? Key Stage 1. Mga ilan sila? Meron ba? May idea kayo? Sige. Habang wala pa, pero on an average, no, based on the numbers, on an average, parang sa isang Key Stage 1 classroom, meron tayong around, may 25 tayo. That's a happy classroom, definitely. Meron din tayong 55 for Key Stage 1. Depende sa location. Pero I hope no na pag tumaas na ng 55 or tumaas na sana ng 40, nagbubukas na ng panibagong section. That's how we do it in the Department of Education, 'di ba? But may mga limitations and we agree. We actually alam natin lahat 'yan that one of the limitations yung napakaraming bata sa loob ng classroom. Ayan, yan tinatype na ninyo. Oh, meron tayong grade 5, 70 learners. But for the Key Stage 1, parang mas konti naman, hindi tayo umabot ng 70. But in other grade levels, maaring nakasqueeze in talaga sila. Lalo na kung may concern sa dami ng guro na madedeploy o magtuturo, no? So, ano yung sinasabi natin dito? Part of the safe and supportive remedial environments, totoo naman yon. We have the physical environment, we have the classrooms to consider, we have the people, no, yung dami ng tao na nandoon sa isang environment na yon. Kanina, nung napag-usapan natin yung building relationship, sabi natin, kailangan meron tayong tutok, meron tayong communication with these children. They know that they are important, no? At mahalaga yon at mako-consider din natin na ilan ba talaga siya? Ilan ba yung tao na hawak ko doon sa isang classroom na yon, no? So yun yung mga bagay na pag pinag-usapan natin, hindi talaga tayo matatapos. But in the aral program, no, based on what we offer, no, in our remediation, we have already the hardware and the software in terms of this actually program. What do we mean by the hardware? No, the hardware, no, we are talking about the learning space. No, pag-uusapan natin ano ba yung learning space sa aral program. We have the classroom, we have the home, we have the community learning centers, and we also have virtual, depending on the availability, accessibility, and appropriateness to the needs of the learners. Kasi isa sa mga magandang nilalagay natin or kinonsider natin sa ating aral program or sa ating remediation is yung kakayahan ng bata, kakayahan ng system, no? If we don't have the classroom, we can actually have, or we can, the home can actually support the program, no? Maaaring merong mga tutors or meron din namang mga teachers na nagtuturo din sa ating mga community learning centers or isa sa mga natutuhan natin no during the pandemic, kaya din natin ang virtual. Pero gaano ba siya ka-effective at gaano ba siya susuportahan nung estudyante, nung ating mga bahay, no, nung ating community. That's why sa usapin ng learning space, kapag binigyan tayo ng pagkakataon na i-design, no, ano ba yung learning space natin sa classroom? Paano siya? So, meron tayong idea niyan kasi yan talaga yung ating lugar. Kumbaga, workplace natin yan for the longest time. Nag-iiba-iba lang ng classroom but definitely the prerequisites or the requirement for a classroom, alam natin yan. In terms of home, paano natin maire-ready yung learning space sa bahay? Kasi definitely, hindi lahat ng task matatapos sa loob ng classroom. We also encourage the teachers, no, pagka nagkakaroon tayo ng orientation sa ating aral program or sa remediation, mahalaga na nire-ready din natin yung learning space sa bahay. Paano yon? Baka po pwedeng makausap yung mga magulang na magkakaroon po ng remediation ng inyong anak at kakailanganin po niya ng espasyo para sa kanyang pag-aaral. So, maari po ba tayong maglaan halimbawa ng isang lugar sa bahay kung saan kahit paano magkakaroon siya ng sarili niyang espasyo, no? Kung talagang maliit yung bahay o limitado yung espasyo, maaari ba naming ipagpaalam, no, ang inyong anak na siya po ay magsistay dito sa paaralan after class para magkaroon ng pagkakataon na mag-aral, no, or maturuan sa pamamagitan ng aral program. Also, in our community learning centers, marami ito yung ating community learning centers. Maaari din naman kasing dito rin nagkakaroon tayo ng learning space. And also, based on sa atin, sa capacity, marami namang may kakayahan for virtual learning space. However, yung efficiency niya for early grades, yun yung medyo magiging concern natin. Kasi isa sa attribution din kung bakit nahihirapan silang magbasa dahil nga nung time na sila ay yung mga nasa key stage 2 natin, yung time na sila ay nandoon sa foundational skills development na nag-aaral silang magbasa, nagkulang pagdating sa tutok dahil nga virtual yung kanilang participation before, during the pandemic. So imagine that, no? It's a chain reaction. Learning space lang ang pinag-uusapan natin, pero chain reaction siya palagi at laging may effect siya doon sa development ng learner. Babalikan ko din yung kaninang discussion about building positive relationship. When we try to have a virtual, no, hindi ko sinasabing pangit yung virtual kasi lahat naman nakikinabang dito sa mga like the virtual meetings, no, the virtual workshops. Tayo nga ngayon naka-virtual tayo Pero ang sinasabi ko lang dito at gusto kong puntusan is nagdedepende din siya doon sa key stage or doon sa developmental capacity ng bata. Kasi halimbawa, ang makakalaban naman natin dito ay yung tagal niya sa screen, no, yung screen time. Or maaaring maliban doon sa virtual class na gaganapin, maka-access din siya ng ibang sites na hindi naman talaga para sa kanya. So medyo mas magkakaroon ng problema kasi instead na nakafocus siya doon sa pagbabasa o doon sa solve ng math problem, nakuha na yung atensyon niya ng iba pang mga bagay, no? So the learning space as provided by our DM, no, in relation to the ARAL program, marami siya na pwede nating pagpilian at marami din tayong pwedeng magiging creative din tayo in terms of the learning space. Maaari kasing kung may library, no, maaring sa library din siya. Ang mahalaga dito, matanong din natin sa bata, saan ka ba komportable na mag-aral? No, may mga bata kasi na komportable kasama yung ibang bata, kasama yung ibang levels, may mga ganon, or meron din naman na mas preferred nila na mag-isa, o mas preferred nila sa bahay, o mas preferred nila sa school, no? So isa yan sa mga dinedefine din natin in terms of building the relationship. Doon pa lang, pinag-uusapan na natin ano ba yung parang pinaka best option for this particular learner. So this is in remediation kasi baka isipin natin, ino-open na ba ng DepEd? Baka nagkakaroon lang tayo ng kalituhan pagdating doon sa learning space. Hindi ito for the regular kasi ang regular naman talaga natin ay face-to-face every day, no? This is just for the ARAL, no? Para lang makita natin saan ba mas maximize yung ganitong support, no? Now, meron ako ditong nakalagay na box, yung availability, accessibility, and appropriateness to the needs of the learners. Hindi pwedeng mawala ang isa. No, diyan sa tatlo na yan. Sa pamimili o doon sa pagkokonsidera ng ating learning space, mahalagang mapag-isipan natin, available ba ito? Accessible ba ito sa kanya? At appropriate ba siya sa needs ng ating mga mag-aaral? And then, yung hardware na tinatawag natin, bukod doon sa pagde-design ng sariling space, tayo rin bilang guro, meron din tayong capacity na tingnan ano ba yung dapat na itsura ng isang learning space, no, ng isang lugar kung saan magtuturo at matututo ang mga mag-aaral. Kanina binanggit ninyo, hindi lahat nung nasa ARAL program ay sarili niyong estudyante. Definitely, sila ay nanggaling din sa ibang classroom kung gagamit kayo ng classroom. So, maaaring tingnan yung possibility na maglaan ng separate classroom kung may available at maaari ding makipag-partner sa halimbawa sa home or sa community learning centers kung meron silang available na space. Pero sa learning space, kagaya nga ng binanggit ko, as long as the teacher is there, nandoon ang learner, no, tayo ay makakapag-aral, no, magiging learning space yan, no. So what should be considered in establishing the learning space? As I mentioned, yung tatlong A na yan, availability, accessibility, appropriateness, and definitely between you and the learner. No, mapag-uusapan din natin, no, yung mga consideration na yan, nakakaligtaan kasi. Maaaring ang maging desisyon ay ipunin na lang sila sa kabilang classroom kahit na magkakaiba sila ng grade level. Without us thinking na baka yung kabatch nung bata na naglalag behind yung academic performance, yun pala yung classroom nung talaga niyang original na mga kaklase. So, nade-defeat yung social and emotional learning, lalong-lalo na't mararamdaman niya na sobrang behind siya, no? Or if ever naman paghalu-haluin natin, iba-ibang grade levels, baka pagdating sa focus, mahirapan din tayo. So in designing the safe and supportive remedial environments, malaking factor ang teacher at ang learners. Sama na rin natin ang community at ang family. No? Hindi lang siya trabaho ng teacher. Kasi kailangan malaman din ng mga magulang na ito yung pinaka-available, pinaka-accessible, at pinaka-appropriate na pamamaraan. At kailangan namin, nanay, tatay, ng tulong ninyo para i-promote ito at puntahan talaga ng learners. Okay? So, yan din yung isa sa mga concerns natin eh. Bakit ba nagkakaroon ng pagliban sa klase? Baka meron ding kinalaman yung learning space ng school mismo para mas ganahan siya. Kasi yung motivation na tinatawag, nakaka-motivate din ang learning space o yung lugar kung saan ka nag-aaral. Kahit naman tayong adult, meron tayong mga specific places, no, na mas preferred natin na doon magstay kung tayo ay may pinag-iisipan ng malalim. Isang factor din yung nakikita sila ng kapwa-bata nila. Minsan, nakakahiya na katulad ng edad ko, pareho kaming may difficulty, pero mas malaki yung problema ko or mas malaki yung difficulty on my end. So, mahirap siyang tanggapin, totoo naman yun, mahirap tanggapin, and at the same time, mahirap din maintindihan sa kanila. So, kailangan natin silang tulungan na hanapin, asan ba yung learning space na tinatawag para yun yung masuportahan natin. That's a form of support na pwede nating ibigay sa kanila. Next, meron din tayong software, no? At yung software na tinatawag natin dito, ito yung ating safety or the safe and supportive environment. So maliban doon sa physical design, no? Kanina pinag-usapan natin ano yung itsura, ano yung meron, ano yung dapat na nandyan, kailangan ba maraming poster, kailangan ba nandyan yung picture ng mga politicians and all, no? Kailangan ba ganun ang isang learning environment or the remedial environment. So susubukan din nating tingnan ano ba yung tinatawag na safe and supportive environment. Pag sinabing safe, no, environment, learners can freely express their thoughts and feelings, they can ask questions, and they can hear encouragement. That's the safe environment sa kanila. So makikita nyo rin dito yung supportive environment. Learners can feel authentic concern from teachers or tutors. They are well informed and are encouraged to participate better, no? When we talk about the safety and the support, sabi ko nga kanina, hindi natin siya paglalabanin ano yung dapat na mas priority kasi pantay siya. It should be a safe and supportive remedial environment. Tandaan natin ha, yung ating mga bata under the ARAL program, nung nagre-remedial sila, maaaring cause yung environment kung bakit nagkaroon sila ng concern academically. So definitely, in the remedial program, we need to ensure na both of this, the safety and the supportive environment, ay present para mas ma-encourage yung learning. Paano natin masasabi na safe, no? Paano yung freely express their thoughts and feelings? Kaya ba nilang mag-express ng thoughts and feelings sa piling o doon kasama yung maraming bata? O mas nagiging timid sila kapag gano'n ang naging setup, no? Babalikan ko lang yung idea kanina, no? There's no such thing as one size fits all. So even in our learning environment, we need to reconsider, rethink, no? Pag ba sinabi ng ating mga kasama na dalawang classroom lang yung allotted for aral, yan lang ang pwede, yun lang ba talaga? O baka may iba pa tayong pwedeng i-consider? And then, learners can ask questions. Ano ba tong mga questions na to? Pag ang isang learner, ganito yung dynamics niyan. Pag ang isang learner, nahihirapan siya at nakikita niya yung kabilang learner, no, na parang nakakasunod, nakakasagot sa mga tanong, matatakot na din yan na mag-ask ng questions. Tama ba? Behavior yan ng bata eh. So how can we encourage them to ask questions? Definitely hindi naman natin i-hamper or i-hinder yung growth ng isang bata para sa isang bata na hindi makasunod. But definitely, we need to recognize yung space na kailangan nila para sila din ay makapag-isip at makapagtanong ng kanilang tanong. At mahalaga yun, no? Kasi pag nagtanong na sila, kapag nag-raise na sila ng concern or nag-raise sila ng mahalagang tanong o nagbabother sa kanilang isip, ibig sabihin na i-encourage din natin sila to engage and at the same time to think. Yun kasi yung mahalaga dun sa process. Yung thoughts nila and feelings, yung kanilang engagement, yung kagustuhan nila to be there, yun yung ini-encourage natin. And then, finally, under safe, they can hear encouragement. So, dun sa encouragement, we know how to balance encouragement, right? Natutuhan natin yan kanina. We celebrate the wins, we tell them or we talk to them paano mag-bounce back, no? And also, we encourage them to continue. Kaya, dun sa safe na tinatawag na safe na environment, kasama siya sa mga dapat isinasaalang-alang. Hindi tayo yung magiging dahilan para siya ay tumigil, no? Isang sakit ito, no, this is something negative, but I heard this from some teachers, no, na nakilala ko na parang wala na yang pag-asa, nakatatlong grade 8 na yan eh. Yung parang ganyan. So dun pa lang namatay na yung motivation, namatay na yung parang idea na move siya forward, no? So, ayaw natin. Yun yung ayaw natin na kind ng environment. And then, under the supportive, kanina binanggit din natin, they can feel authentic concern from their teachers or tutors. Yung well-informed, no? Kaya dapat alam nila yung tatakbuhin. Kaya sa isang classroom, mahalaga, nandun yung schedule. Nandun yung aasahan din nila. Hindi yun palamuti lamang. Hindi siya ipuput up kapag may pupuntang mga bisita na dapat nakikita to, dapat nakikita to. Bago makita ng bisita, ito tatandaan nyo teachers, dapat consistent na nakikita ng mga bata. Okay? Kasi kung halimbawa gusto nyong mag-develop ng value, honesty. Paano nila yan paano tayo makakapag-inculcate ng honesty? Pag present yung honesty, even the word honesty, araw-araw nilang nakikita, may effect yan sa kanila. No? Encourage to participate better. Paano tayo makaka-encourage to participate better? Lagyan nyo sila ng maraming libro, bigyan nyo sila ng manipulatives for early grades, even provide them bigger space to play. That's part of growing up. That's part of learning, no? Hindi siya non-academic or kumbaga parang extracurricular lang about the learning process. Kasi parte yun o bahagi yun ng pagiging bata nila, no? So, this topic is very, kumbaga simplistic in a way, but I want to challenge you, how are you going to strike a balance between safety and supportive environment? How are you going to promote this? And how are you going to communicate that there is a need for this kind of environment as part of our remedial program or our ARAL program? No? Sige. So, we are going to end this session with this question. What will I do now? On Monday, I will blank. No? Based on what I heard or what we discussed this morning, with all the limitations that we also recognize, ano kaya yung pwede kong gawin? Maliit na bagay na maaaring may impact doon sa aking mga learners under the ARAL program. And that will be part of your reflection. Or maybe some of you can answer already, no? Ano kaya yung pinaka-feasible na gagawin natin in terms of learning environment this coming Monday? Ayan. Siguro, let's hear mga 3 lang na sharers para sa umagang ito. Ayan.